What's going on, guys? It's Juice Audio, and today I have a little bit of a different comparison for you guys. I'm going to be comparing two different sets of headphones from Meze Audio, and these are regarded as audiophile headphones. You may be thinking, why would I use these in the studio? Well, a lot of headphones professional audio engineers use in the studio aren't even meant for the studio. But it's okay to have a little bit of a different frequency response than flat. For example, like A to Z headphones are incredibly bright, but yet mastering engineers and mixing engineers swear by those. And it's not because of the frequency response, but it's because of the distortion. You want a headphone with low distortion. So speaking of that, these headphones here are incredible. They sound amazing, have a super wide sound stage, and the details are just there. I haven't experienced this type of detail on a set of headphones. So I thought I'd compare these two models because, believe it or not, they're pretty similar. One of them costs $400, which is a Meze 105 AER right here. Then we got the Meze 109 Pro. The 109 Pro is $800. The 105 is $400. And I'll be talking about the differences between the two today and if these headphones are the right headphone for you. So I'm gonna start with what is similar between them in characteristics and design. So they were both open back headphones. And if you didn't know, open back headphones let sound in and out, so that they're not enclosed with a shell. So basically you can't use these for recording vocals, for recording anything, because the sound will leak out and go into your microphone. The reason why open back is better and people prefer it is because sound is not going to be stuck resonating in your headphone. So this leads to a way cleaner response, having an open sound stage and cleaner bass. So I'll talk about how these sound. So the sound characteristic of these is very smooth and detailed. They are boosted at the high end, but they have a super wide sound stage, and I've heard things on these I've never heard before. So the first thing I heard, I noticed right away, like basically my first impression, was that I kept hearing bass from hi-hat mics. So if you didn't know, like if you don't roll off the bass in a hi-hat, which you would think has no bass, and it doesn't, but the stand, if you hit it, it resonates into the microphone. So you still have to cut the bass practically out of every instrument besides like drums and kick and bass guitar. So that's what I kept hearing with these headphones. On tracks I've always listened to on other headphones and other speakers, I never heard that. But when I put these on, I heard bass coming out of hi-hats. So that's something specific, and but it's good to know that these are really detailed and they show you the whole song. So the sound character of these two is that they are slightly bright, pretty neutral bass, I would say, for both of these. And the upper mid-range is a little bit recessed. I will say that these headphones are pretty bright, and you cannot listen to these loud over a long period, at least the 105s. So I want to first say that I love how these sound. Like when listening to music, it's like you're experiencing music again for the first time. Like you hear things you've never heard. You feel like you're being put in the space that the music was recorded in, which is crazy. So I love these headphones. I really do love these headphones. I have 400 piece, especially the 105s. The 109s, they are better, but they're not $400 better. So the strengths of the 105, as I mentioned before, is that the sound signature is amazing. You can hear the smallest detail on the sound stage. I will say the sound stage is not like a 360, you know? The way I hear it is that it's flat, and then the right and the left are extended. So it's almost like the right and the very left have the most detail, but then the front is just kind of like a wall. So that's what I felt about the 105s. They don't have like that whole front to back kind of feeling. It's more like left, middle, right. But if you hear stuff on the left and the right, it's like crazy detailed. You're like, what the hell? Hearing stuff I've behind my head or something, you know? The character of the 105s is neutral until the top end, and then it gets a little bit bright. But that's like the sound you want to hear when you're listening to music and you're just relaxing. That's how you hear everything in a song. Like it gives it that resolution. So the 109s have a slightly different sound signature, as I would say. It's honestly like only 10% better, I would put it. They have a little bit more bass, which I loved. Like I felt like the 105s needed a little bit more bass. They had that bass, they had a little bit more punch. The high end is a little bit more smoother, and they have a little bit more resolution. So this is only tiny stuff. And the 109s are amazing headphones. If these two cost the same, I would definitely pick up the 109s. You actually get a front to back on the 109s. It's not just left, middle, right. I will say on the 105s, it's not really left, middle, right. It is a super wide soundstage, but when comparing the two, the 105 feels like a left, middle, right kind of headphone, you know? But the 109s are the well-rounded, full picture, like complete headphone that you want. Like you can hear everything. The bass is punchy. There's sub in there. And the character of the sub and the bass in these is super clean. It's close to plain R's. It doesn't have like that like punch though, that like my Focals have, which have like that really warm punch, like you feel your head shaking, you know? It's not like that. It's like a super clean bass. And that's why I can actually use these for mixing, because when listening to tracks I've mixed or I'm working on, the bass is clean, everything's clean. The mid-range is like not all the way there, you know? So what I end up doing is ducking the high end about 3 dB, and then these become perfect headphones for me. Like they're just spot on. So what's the real difference between the two? The 109 has like just a little bit more bass. It has just a little bit more soundstage. It has better material, and I guess you could say it looks better. To me, honestly, I don't really like having flashy stuff on headphones. I'm like more of a black and white kind of guy. So that's pretty much it. For $400 more, you get a little bit more bass, a little more resolution, and some people are willing to pay that for these. So don't get me wrong, I would recommend both of these. But if it was coming to studio use, I would have to take the 105s, just because they're all black. They have a more neutral soundstage until the high end, and you get most of the performance for half the money. So let's talk about comfort and fit. Both these headphones feel amazing. Like it feels like you're wearing nothing at all on your head. And the design of these is spectacular. Meze is a Romanian brand. They take pride in everything they build. And you can see the quality and the craftsmanship in these. Like, they're beautiful headphones. They sound beautiful. They look beautiful. That's the whole thing about these that I've come to experience with Meze, is that they just take pride in what they do. And I really respect that. Could you use these in the studio? Yes, you can absolutely use these in the studio. Like I mentioned earlier, there are headphones that are completely wacky and way off the frequency response, but people still love them. And these are another one of those headphones you can get used to. I will say they're a little bright, so like they can be fatiguing at high volumes. I found myself not being able to listen to these at high volumes. So that's about it, honestly. These headphones are amazing to listen to. I could put these on and just sit and listen to music all day, listen to movies. I love them, honestly. So Meze is not paying me to say this. I don't get to own these headphones. I'm sending them back. But yeah, that's it for today's review. Have a good one.